Hey friends, welcome again to another video. In this video, I want to be sharing some of the mistakes I did as a teenager and in my early 20s, which is the reason why I'm still broke in my late 20s. Not poor, but broke. So make sure you watch the video right up to the end so you can learn from these mistakes as well, which will help you improve your financial life in your early or your mid 20s. Also, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share the video so that others can learn from my mistakes. The first mistake I did was I used the time I was supposed to be learning and investing on myself to chase money. When I left school in 2016, I was about 20 or 21 years old at the time. I told myself this was time to start making some money. But it was later on in life I realized I was so wrong. What I was supposed to do at the time, being a mechanical engineering student, was to look for a workshop which would blend the theory I had from school with the practical from the workshop and get me ready for the job market. And I see a lot of young people doing the same mistakes today. So if you're watching this video and you are in your early 20s or you are still a teenager, don't make the same mistake I did. Now is the time to learn and invest in yourself, because the younger you are, the more flexible your brain is. It is easy for you to learn new things once you are young. As you grow older, your brain becomes more rigid and it will be difficult for you to learn a skill. You might be thinking the money you are making now is a lot, but no, you are wrong. As you grow older, your responsibility will gradually be increasing and there will become a time where you need a higher paying job and a higher salary, but you will not be able to get those things. Why? You don't have a skill, because the time you were supposed to use to build these skills for yourself, you were chasing money. And now it has reached a time when you need the money the most. You still can't make the money. Why? Simply because you don't have a skill. Let's take, for instance, maybe you are 18, 19, or 20 years old. Instead of chasing money now, decide to study a skill. And by the time you turn 20, you must have studied a skill for about 3 years. And you are ready for the job market and you start working. By the time you turn 25, you are already a master in that field with 5 years of working experience, which will improve your potentialities of earning a higher salary. So please, I'm telling you, don't make the same mistakes I made in the past. That's the reason why even at 27 now, I'm still in school trying to build a career for myself. If I had spent my early years building all my skills, at 27, I would have been making millions already in the working industry. The second mistake I made was not thinking in long term. I was so focused on the benefits I will have at the moment. Thinking long-term is a quality we all need, especially when finances are concerned. And this was so bad for me because I was so focused on the little advantages I have at the moment, so much so that I was blinded to the bigger advantages that could come to me in the future. There was a time I had an opportunity to travel to Lithuania and study software engineering. At the same time, I also had another opportunity to travel to the UAE, where I'll be working as a security. But I really loved the idea of traveling to UAE at the time because I was supposed to be making about $750 a month as a security in the UAE. So I went to the UAE and I was working as a security. But guess what? For almost 2 years, I worked as a security and my worth never increased. My worth was $750 a month. Hadn't been I took the decision to go and study software engineering in Lithuania. For 3 years, I will have a software engineering degree and my worth will be about $10,000 a month. So what I'm trying to say here is, let's always think about the advantages we will have with time as a result of the sacrifices we are making now, rather than thinking about the benefits we have now. Because most of the time, the benefits we have now are not really that big compared to the ones that we will have in the future as a result of the sacrifices we are making now. So if you are watching this and you are a teenager or in your early 20s, I want you to know that you'll be presented with a lot of opportunity as you grow. But before you make any decision, ask yourself, will I be able to take care of my family? Will I be able to pay my bills 5 years from now if I grab this opportunity? And if you cannot answer a yes to that question, then that's not the opportunity for you. Even if the advantages of those opportunities are big at the moment, still it's not the best for you. Always try to grab opportunities that might have smaller advantages of the beginning but has the potentialities of growth. The third mistake I made was the lack of a definite purpose. And this was really one of the bad things that happened to me, because I spent a lot of time and energy studying different things, not because I really love these things, but because you could make more money if you study these things. And once I started doing this, my life was just like a boat in the middle of a wide ocean and it had no captain. And we just sail wherever the wind pushes it to. For instance, let's say I was studying a course like Python programming language, and maybe I am halfway to the end of the course, and I read an article online that says people who study PHP makes more money than people who study Python. Immediately, I will abandon Python and start studying PHP. Even if I'm in the middle way of the PHP as well, and I see another article that says people who study C++ makes more money than people who study PHP, I will abandon PHP and I try studying C++. So I used a lot of time and energy trying to grasp these things, of which I would have just spent that time and energy to study one thing. I would have become a master in it. Because honestly, if you decide to study something, whatever it is you decide to study, and become your best at it, you can still use it to make money. Although it helps to know a little bit of everything, but it is always better to be a jack of all trades and a master in one, rather than being a jack of all trades and a master in none. So if you are in your teen or your early 20s and you decide to study a skill, Focus on what you're studying and give a deaf ear to whatever people are saying about that skill. Because the moment you start listening to people and listening to what people are saying, that could easily derive you from your path. The fourth mistake I made was trying to build wealth fast. This led to a lot of wrong investment and loss of money. This really crippled me financially because at the time I did not realize wealth is patient. For you to build wealth, you need to be patient. So due to my romantic desires of building wealth fast, I made a lot of investment without thinking. I would just invest on a business without doing any research on it just because a friend came and told me I have this platform where you could put in $500 and make $20 of passive income daily. So without even thinking, just because I wanted to get rich fast, I would just invest the money. And most of the time, all the time, I lost the money. Please don't fall for this trick. This kind of business will certainly work for a couple of weeks, a couple of months, but it's certainly going to fail. So before you invest a dime on a business, make sure you do your personal research on that business so well. Don't trust what people are telling you, because most of the time they will tell you all you need is $100 or $200 to start up this business. But once you invest the $200 and get into the business, you start discovering some hidden fields which was not in your budget. If someone is introducing a business, you make sure that business have a strategy of approach, a business plan which include the budget, money you need to start with that business. Not that you get into the business and you start to discover some fields that were not mentioned when you were about to start the business. The fattest lie out there today is every successful person out there has taken a risk and they have lost money before they become successful in their business. That's a fat lie. You can still play very safe and you get rich. Remember this: to make money, to make your own money, you need your own tools and your own strategies to make your money. But if you don't have the tools, if you don't have the strategies to make your own money, there are always people out there willing to use you as a tool to make their money. Fifth mistake I made was not saving. I thought I was still too young to start saving some money, but I was wrong. Because the truth is, if you really want to become a successful person out there today, you need to cultivate that habit of saving some money. Now, I make more money than what I used to make 5 years ago, but it's so difficult for me to save because it was not a habit I tried building from when I was younger. I was just used to making my money and spending my money. Even now, it's still difficult for me to get out of that habit. Aside from the fact that saving will build a good financial habit, sometimes I used to think about how much I would have had in a safe right now hadn't been I started saving some money from the time I started working. Even if it was $1 from the time I was like 16 or 17 to the time I'm 27, that would have been a lot of money. But I kept telling myself, once I start making much money, I will start saving. But the more money I made, the more difficult it became for me to save. Why? Because I had not cultivated that habit from the time when I was younger. So if you are watching this and you are in your teens or your early 20s, I want you to cultivate the habit of saving. It doesn't matter how small it is, but just try to do it, because once you get a habit and you start making more money, it will be a lot more easier for you to save money for future investment. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the channel, subscribe, and share the video so that someone might watch the video and learn from my mistakes. God bless you. Peace.